Greetings metalheads, welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George and today I am reviewing the brand new album from a rather divisive band indeed. I'm talking about Disturbed with, yes, Divisive. Their brand new album came out a couple of weeks back, I believe. You know what? Say what you like about nu metal, because let's face it, Disturbed are a nu metal band. Say what you like about Disturbed, but you know, this album kicks ass. This is, without a doubt, the best album that Disturbed have released since at least Asylum, although that album had a few sort of hit and miss moments for me. I'm going to say this is probably the best album the band has released since that amazing career-defining moment that was Indestructible. This is a very good album indeed. So, the last album, Evolution, a couple of years back now, that album, I'm not going to say it's a terrible album, but it was, in my opinion, it was kind of lacking the fire and the energy that Disturbed always were characterised by. They had a good mix of aggression, they had a good mix of groove, they had a good heavy edge, but they had melody. But that last album was a little bit soft, in my opinion. That Evolution album was just a little bit soft, but these guys are on fine form here. Disturbed are on absolutely fine form, and this album is really rather heavy. Overall, I would say that this is not just a nu metal album. Don't think Linkin Park. Don't think Limp Bizkit. Think on the heavier end, the groovier end. This is more, really, it's more of a groove metal, kind of mixed with a very industrial sound. At times, there are moments where David Draymond, frontman vocalist there, his vocals, the delivery, and also some of the riffs really do remind me more of his solo project, which he did a few years back, called Device. He had one album, self-titled album with that, which was a very industrial project. It was an industrial metal project. This has a lot of industrial metal traits kind of melded in with traditional groove metal. This wouldn't go too far out beyond the realms of Pantera at times with some of the crunchy, groovy riffs. Just saying. So, you know, Disturbed, nu metal, it's a very divisive subject, a very divisive interest, shall we say, within the metal world. Some people love it, some people love Disturbed. There's countless albums that have reached very high in the charts for these guys, but there's also a lot of people, a lot of detractors out there that would say, they're a nu metal band, they suck, they sound very radio friendly, blah blah blah. But growing up and getting into music at the time that I did, albums like Believe and 10,000 Fists and Indestructible were hugely influential on me, so I have stuck with them and been listening to them over the years with subsequent albums. Asylum was the last one that I really kind of fell in love with. Although that album, I don't think that was quite as good. It was a good album, a fine album, not quite as good as Indestructible. But Indestructible was a career-defining moment. It was one of the best albums in modern groove nu metal. It's a high point in their career. After the hiatus that followed on from Asylum, we had Immortalize, which was a good album. It had some really strong material. There's a lot of anticipation because Disturbed are certainly one of the biggest bands in the nu metal subgenre, but they're also one of the biggest bands in modern metal, along with the likes of Slipknot and Five Finger Death Punch, Bullet for My Valentine. They are one of those names that you will always see them high up on those festival bills. But I think the last album, Evolution, which followed on from Immortalize after a couple of years, it did lack the fire. But this is burning. This is an absolute inferno. Not even clocking in at quite 40 minutes long. I think it's about 37 minutes long in total and change. This is a formidable album. Absolutely love it. It kicks off with a 1-2 blow of Hey You and Bad Man. Now those songs are loaded with grooves and hooks. The vocal work from David Draymond is top notch. You cannot fault the guy. He can do the rapping, fast vocal delivery, and he's also got great power in his voice. He's got a really strong voice, delivers so well. Dan Donegan on the guitars, he's a fantastic guitarist. I will say that overall he's far less prominent. It's more rhythm. There's not a huge amount of wild, crazy solos and leads on this album. It's more about delivering those huge slabs of crunchy riffage, which you do get in spades on those 1-2 attack that I've mentioned there, Hey You and Bad Man. Very heavy track, very groovy stuff indeed. Josh Moyer on bass as well, delivering a seriously heavy percussive end there. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant stuff. Just so groovy, so crunchy and so heavy. Without a doubt, those two tracks, a brilliant introduction to an album and some of the heaviest material that we've heard from Disturbed in a number of years. No doubt at all. Divisive, the title track there, a very good song. I mean, these songs are so loaded with hooks. They're so memorable, so catchy. It's far more of a melodic track. Like a few tracks later, we get Love to Hate. They're far more melodic, you could say. They've got a lot of melody, a lot of groove, some great vocal work, tons of hooks, of course, but a slightly slower pace. Whereas those opening two tracks and Unstoppable, they deliver a faster pace, crushing, groovy, nu metal attack. Huge, thick riffs. It's just headbang stuff. You cannot help but get sucked into it. Feeding the Fire, another great track, along with Love to Hate as well. Again, the vocal work is killer. The guitar work is killer as well. And the vocal lines, it's the way that David Draymond does his vocals. It is so memorable from the off. The whole structuring, the whole delivery of the vocals and the songs themselves, it just instantly clicks. Even with the ballad track, Don't Tell Me, featuring Ann Wilson, who I have no idea who that is. I didn't even really have the foresight to look into it too much, but it's a good duet. It's a slow ballady thing, but not as slow as that Sound of Silence cover from a few albums back now, but you know, it's a good moment. It's got a heavier edge. David's vocals are huskier and harsher as well. Not so clean and clear, not like the Believe era vocal delivery that we got, but it's a good track. It's a good melody there. Take Back Your Life, another fine moment. A very heavy hitting, very groovy track. In fact, those last three tracks, Take Back Your Life, Part of Me and Won't Back Down, those are quite short songs. I think, in fact, less than 3 minutes for Won't Back Down rather and Take Back Your Life. They are very good songs, hard hitting. In fact, that last track has a crushing, killer groovy breakdown, very industrial riffing, just skull crushingly good stuff. Absolutely love it. As I say, overall, Divisive is without a doubt the heaviest album that we've heard from Disturbed, I probably would say, since Indestructible. And that was a heavy album. And this is a damn heavy album. The guitar work, industrial, groovy, it's killer. Absolutely love it. As I've mentioned, it wouldn't go too far off reservation for fans of Pantera at times, or Hell Yeah, those sort of groovy, industrial sounding riffs. It's great stuff. I would say this is not an album to miss. Disturbed, Divisive, you know, you say what you like about Disturbed, but they've persevered. There was a hiatus. After a few years, they did come back, and they've almost slowly reawakened. No pun intended, but it took them a while to awaken, and they've come back. Finally, 2022, they're sounding as heavy and as harsh as they did in the early 2000s. Without a doubt, the best stuff since Indestructible, and that's saying a lot. But at times, This album reminds me of a mixture of the first three albums of The Sickness, that classic nu metal benchmark point of Believe, with far more melody, far more groove, very concise guitar work there, and then the absolutely mesmerizing power and energy of 10,000 Fists. Such an encapsulating album. Absolutely love that one to bits. The whole band on fine form. It's a fantastic album. Now I know a lot of people will be put off by the fact it's a nu metal band, but you know, give it a chance. Give this album a chance. If you've never heard Disturbed before, this is not a bad place to start at all. If you're a long-term fan, you're gonna love it. These guys are back with a vengeance. They're back heavy and powerful. They've got it all going on. Check it out. Got nothing to lose. Not even 40 minutes long. It's worth giving a go. So, are there any other fans out there? Any other secret metalhead fans of nu metal or Disturbed? Because they are definitely one of the best bands, if not the best band, of that whole weird, very controversial subgenre that is. But what do you think? If you never heard it, never heard Disturbed, check it out. Let me know what you think. I'm very interested to know. It's definitely worth checking out. It's an album you need to hear. Thank you very much for watching, my friends. Do feel free to like and subscribe. As always, it's very much appreciated. And do check back soon for more reviews, more recommendations of all things good and heavy. You take care, my friends. As always, stay heavy.